Just 12 months later, Liverpool were again in the European Cup final, and again facing Italian opposition. This time, it was Juventus, at the Heysel Stadium in Brussels. The day had started much as any other.
I went round the city, I saw Belgian fans, Italian fans, Liverpool fans, all mixing very freely. There was no air of menace at all.
Everyone was happy. In the morning, you're all drunk anyway, you know, but in the afternoon, mixing with Juventus fans, no problem. Everyone's sort of like getting on great. And then for some unknown reason, window goes through. And then it just escalated, really. So a few jewellers went west and everyone out to themselves then, really.
As the rival fans made their way to the stadium, the drinking continued.
And outside the ground, there were loads of stores, the market stores, which were selling hot dogs, hamburgers and lots and lots of beer. The drinks are on sale at stores all the way around the ground. There was no attempt by the police to stop drinking. The stadium was a terrible stadium, and we had this awful problem getting through the gates to get in. One turnstile, cranky old ancient turnstile. It was very, very difficult to get in, and there were thousands trying to get through it.
I didn't have a ticket, like, you know, to go, but we knew it was easy to get in because we knew the stadium was crap anyway, you know, so we just jumped over the turnstiles, basically.
I got into the ground and the crushing was very, very bad. And the one thing that struck me about that night was the different range of actions. It never felt like a typical Liverpool crowd.
Chelsea fans there, Bristol City, Charlton, they all going over for a fight, like, you know, and it wasn't just Liverpool, believe me, it wasn't.
To my right-hand side, about maybe 8-10 yards away was the flimsy fence.
Wire mesh thing that you get in the garden, you know, it was only about 6 foot high, like, you know, you could shake it, and it was just come apart quite easy, really.
There were 1 or 2 policemen by that fence, but there was not the kind of stewarding or policing support that you would normally see at a football match.
Even at a normal ground at that time in England for a normal league game, it would be absolutely flooded with police, but it wasn't there.
Clearly, you know, if you've got 2 sets of fans on either side of a very flimsy barrier, there's a certain amount of, an awful lot of aggravation going to take place between them.
You could see different groups arguing, throwing insults at each other, and then you could see the Italians wanting to have a fight.
And then, of course, we saw little skirmishes develop, things being thrown from one section to the other. I think bottles were going. You could see missiles going anyway.
We've seen the young lad getting booted on the floor, a little 12-year-old lad getting beat by the Italians, and you go, no, not having that, like, you know, so little wire fence, you know, you just pull that down. The police, there was only a dozen of them, I think. They couldn't hold it, so we just more or less ran at them.
The Liverpool fans charged, and Juventus supporters were crushed against the wall at the end of the terrace. The wall collapsed, and 38 Juventus fans and 1 Liverpool fan died. There had been aggression from both sets of supporters, but the fatal charge had been made by the English fans. not all of them would accept that responsibility.
They started the fighting and we weren't having it, so we ran at them and they ran, and that's what it boils down to. And I know 39 people died, and no one should die at a football match, believe me, but it was an accident.
That stadium was not fit to house a major European final. The Belgian authorities were simply not up to running a football match of that nature. At the same time, we must not shirk the responsibility that we fans have. At the end of the day, Liverpool and Juventus fans ought to be able to stand next to each other at a football match without killing each other.
Heysel stunned the world of football. Millions of people had watched these terrible scenes unfold live on their television screens. Now the hooligans would face a threat from a new firm, Mrs. Thatcher's government. As the Liverpool fans returned home from Heysel, it was obvious that football would never be the same again. The public had been sickened. Even some of the hooligans realised that life was about to change.
I watched it unfold on the TV screens, yeah? And I was just frozen to it, just like September the 11th. You're just frozen to your screen.
The general public had just about had enough by then and just viewed everyone, every football fan as an animal.
You just wanted to shrivel up and die, yeah? You just wanted to crawl in the smallest corner, yeah? Because everyone, the whole nation was going football fucks, yeah? And what was you? You was part of it, yeah? For your team. You weren't at Heysel or Liverpool, but you was doing exactly the same thing before.
The sense of revulsion was just as strong on the continent.
Savaged by cross-channel fans almost every time an English team have played in Belgium, last night's tragedy opened debates in the streets, with the outcome always unanimous. The English are not wanted here and won't be until they've learned respect.
English clubs were immediately banned from playing in Europe. And at home, hooliganism was under the cosh too. After years of weak policing, the authorities finally started to take football violence seriously.
The government did get tough, more money was put into the system to combat hooliganism and violence in general.
I watched last night, I watched what people say, I felt exactly the same. I wish we could get those responsible, get them before a court and stiff sentences so that they stop anyone else in their tracks from doing